A girl was shaking the dust out of the window. A passing boy thought she was waving at him. The boy waved back at her. The girl felt a sudden rush of excitement. The girl waited by the window again for the boy to pass by, then she shyly waved a cloth to greet him. On the third day, it started to rain heavily. The boy arrived late, and the girl had already gone to do something else. On the fourth day, they missed each other again. The girl thought their fate might end there, but on the fifth day, the doorbell rang. The boy was holding flowers. He introduced himself first as Ernest, and the girl felt shy and introduced herself as Ethel. This little mistake brought him together. They talked, and soon they began to spend time together. They walked into the park and the boy invited her to the cinema to watch a newly released movie after work. It wasn't long before they fell in love, and so their love story began with a bouquet of flowers. When the lovers on the big screen kissed, the boy tightened his arm around the girl's shoulder. In the big city of London, Ernest was a milkman, delivering milk to people's doors every day, living in the slums, and Ethel was a lady's maid. She worked as a maid, cleaning houses. Their lives were quite ordinary. As their feelings deepened, they decided to get married. They met each other's parents. Ethel quit her job as a maid, and even though they didn't have much money, they saved and took out a loan to buy a small house. But the house was empty at first. It had no furniture at all, just walls, a bare floor, and a simple mattress on the floor, but they didn't care. They were happy because they had each other. They got married. Their wedding was small, with just family and friends, and they slowly filled their new home with furniture. The new house filled them with endless hope. Life was hard, and money was tight, but Ethel and Ernest made the best of it. After the wedding, Ethel diligently managed everything at home, and Ernest always found ways to improve life. Gradually, they furnished their homes piece by piece. Their life was simple but happy. They laughed, worked together, and dreamed about their future. 2 years after their marriage, 37-year-old Ethel cried because she hadn't gotten pregnant. Ernest, always thinking of ways to make her happy, surprised her with a beautiful dressing table. Soon after, Ethel surprised him too. She was pregnant. The joy was great. Ernest was overjoyed. He went out to deliver milk at dawn. When their child was born, he returned too late. It was already over. They felt like the luckiest people in the world. But Ernest's main concern was Ethel's health. The doctor told him that, due to Ethel being of advanced maternal age, she shouldn't have more children. For the sake of his beloved wife's health, Ernest decided they wouldn't have any more children. As their son grew up healthy, they enjoyed life's simple pleasures. Ernest loved reading the newspaper and discussing national affairs, while Ethel was busy with housework. They admired the elegant afternoon teas displayed in shop windows but quickly returned to their own simple life. The days for their small family of 3 were poor but warm. What made Ethel cry bitterly was her son starting school. She didn't want to cut off his beautiful curly hair. But then, the Second World War began. Facing the imminent war, Ernest sealed the windows in advance and prepared a gas mask for each family member to protect against possible gas attacks. Life became very dangerous in London, with bombs falling from the sky. Air raid sirens filled every home with fear. To protect the town's children, 1.5 million were evacuated to the countryside. Ethel and Ernest had to send their son to the countryside. Although Ethel was heartbroken, she agreed to the safety of their son. Perhaps after parting, they would never see each other again. It was a very hard time for them, but they stayed strong by supporting each other. Ernest became a firefighter, and Ethel worked in the underground to avoid the bombs. Ernest built an air raid shelter in the yard, but the turmoil persisted. Their iron gates and railings were taken away to be melted down for weapons. Ethel regretted this, but then a bomb destroyed their home. The ever-optimistic Ernest comforted her, saying it was good they were alive. They were grateful that their son, living in the countryside, was growing stronger, unaware of the chaos of the world. But Ernest, fighting fires on the front lines every day, became exhausted. He felt the brutal reality of war up close, and even his optimism was wearing thin. They slept in each other's arms in an iron bed during the bombings. Faced with their shattered home, Ethel got used to it. She found beauty in the flowers growing amid the ruins. The war ended, and the neighbors on the streets celebrated the victory together. But some couldn't feel joy. One neighbor's son had died on the battlefield. Life returned to normal. Ernest's milk cart was upgraded to an electric one. Their son planted a pear tree in the yard. Soon, he was about to attend grammar school, but one day the police escorted him home for stealing. Ethel was heartbroken and cried on the sofa. But when the neighbors asked out of curiosity, Ethel said her son had been helping with an investigation, which was why the police brought him home. Her son saw the scene and never did anything wrong again. Soon, he was about to go to college, but when Ernest returned home, he found his wife crying on the stairs. It turned out their son wanted to leave grammar school and transfer to art school. This kept the couple awake all night. They thought art students were wild, drinking too much, and painting nudes, but they trusted their son and let him follow his dreams. After he went to college, he grew his hair long and dated stylish female classmates. Ernest had a phone installed at home, but his wife felt anxious. It reminded her of an air raid siren. Soon after, they got their first black and white television. Whenever Ernest answered the phone, he would go around the back just so he wouldn't block his wife's view of the TV. He was still the man who loved surprising his wife. He bought a green sedan. Even though they were old, they were still very much in love. Their son became a teacher at a school. Although it was a part-time job, his daily pay was more than Ernest made in a week. Not long after, the son brought a girl home. Although he was old enough to get married, Ethel would still hand him a comb when she saw his messy hair. But the son resented his mother treating him like a child. This made Ethel unhappy too. However, they apologized and made up during dinner. After the son got married, he said they wouldn't have children because his wife had schizophrenia. Although Ethel was very sad, she had to accept this reality. Later on, the son bought a house in the countryside so his wife could better recover her mental and physical health. Ethel thought the place was too run down, but Ernest supported their son's decision. Ernest retired. Before they knew it, they had spent half a lifetime together, But Ethel's health was slowly deteriorating. Their son and his wife came back to visit her, but when Ethel saw her son's long hair, she couldn't help but hand him a comb. Now the son had learned to accept it. As time passed, Ethel's health started to get worse. She developed dementia and began forgetting things, even her husband. Ethel began needing a wheelchair to go outside. The tea shop they once wanted to visit had closed down. They never did get to go inside. But Ernest never stopped loving her. He would bring her flowers, and sometimes, when she saw them by the bedside, she would smile, remembering the love they shared. Not long after, Ethel passed away. Ernest was very sad. He missed her deeply. He still had the habit of setting out 2 sets of dinnerware, but now only a black cat kept him company. Ethel was no longer there to watch TV with him, and no one was left to say good night from the other side of the bed. Not long after, Ernest too passed away from illness, following his wife. Their lifelong companionship was captured in the young wedding photo. When the frame was taken down, the wall bore the eternal mark of time. Their story didn't end there. Later, their son, who became an artist, turned his parents' life filled with love and longing into an illustrated movie, showing how much his parents had loved each other. Ethel and Ernest's life was simple, but it was filled with love and care. Life is a journey filled with love, struggle, joy, and sorrow. What truly matters are the simple, everyday moments shared with those we love. Ethel and Ernest's story shows us that happiness is not in grand gestures or wealth, but in the quiet companionship, resilience, and unconditional love we build with one another. They showed us that real love is not about money or big things. It's about being there for each other, through the good and bad times. It's about finding happiness in the small, everyday moments. In the face of war, loss, and hardship, their bond remained unbroken, a testament to the enduring power of love and family. Let this story remind you to cherish the moments you share with your loved ones, no matter how small or ordinary they may seem. Take a moment today to express gratitude, show kindness, and spend time with the people who mean the most to you. After all, it's these simple acts of love that leave a lasting mark on our hearts and lives. Share this story with someone you care about and inspire them to embrace the beauty of love in everyday life. Thank you for joining us today. Like and subscribe to our channel for